Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SHN Sports and our presentation of Georgetown Eagle Baseball. I'm Wally Harmon, live here in the Borrow from Morrow broadcast booth here at Eagle Field and Georgetown High School, where your Georgetown Eagles get set to host the Pflugerville Panthers in Game 2 between these two teams. Wednesday night, thanks to the rainout on Tuesday night, these two teams faced off in their first meeting, where Georgetown was victorious 5-1 over the Panthers at Pflugerville High School to move to 3-0 in district play. These two teams meet again here tonight, live at Georgetown High School in Eagle Field. The Georgetown Eagles in new home, a white cream uniform, Georgetown blue numerals with Georgetown in script lettering across the front in blue. Blue Georgetown hats with the white G logo and blue socks. The visiting Pflugerville Panthers in gray pants and a blue shirt with yellow numbering and lettering on it. They will be in the first base dugout, your Georgetown Eagles, in the third base home dugout for tonight's ball game. Eagle Field, 323 down the lines, 385 to the power alleys, 400 straight away here at Eagle Field. What a beautiful night for baseball here in Georgetown. A clear sky, some wind coming out of the north now. It was out of the south a little bit earlier, and so a little bit of a northeast wind for this ball game, as you see the American flag in the background blowing beautifully there outside the center field fence. Georgetown 8-10-1 overall on the season, but 3-0 in district play. They have beat the Conley Cougars 2 games, 14-2 and 11-0 on the 14th and 15th of March, and then on Wednesday night 5-1 over Pflugerville. The rest of the schedule for District 5A, Region 3, District 23, in the first meetings this week between the opponents. On the 21st and 22nd, Eastview was victorious over Cedar Creek 9-4. Hendrickson was victorious 7-4 over Bastrop. Georgetown, of course, 5-1 winners over Pflugerville. And Elgin blanked Conley 7-0. Tonight's ball games, Conley is on the road to take on the Elgin Wildcats again. Pflugerville here at Georgetown. Hendrickson on the road at Bastrop, and Eastview on the road at Cedar Creek. All games set to begin at 7 p.m. here tonight for these matchups. Next week on Tuesday, Georgetown starts their 2-game series against the Elgin Wildcats on the road at Elgin High School. Eastview will start off at Bastrop. Conley will be at Cedar Creek, and Hendrickson will be at Pflugerville High School. Pflugerville comes into the ball game 4-12 on the year, 1-2 in district play, and they will bring to the mound their catcher from Wednesday night, Colton Williams. He'll be on the mound to start things off for the Pflugerville Panthers tonight. In the district standings, Georgetown stands alone at the top here early in the season at 3-0. Hendrickson, Eastview, and Elgin all sit at 2-1. Pflugerville, Bastrop, Cedar Creek all sit at 1-2. And the Conley Cougars sit at 0-3 in the bottom of the district. Coach Jordan Vieira and manager Jared Frimmel meet at home plate with the two-man umpire crew, along with head coach Dale Wagner for the Pflugerville Panthers as they get set for their home plate meeting to get things started off. Borrow from Morrow, your sponsor for the Georgetown Eagle broadcast booth. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. Borrow from Morrow. Matt Morrow, the press box sponsor. He brings you the broadcast booth each and every night here and on the road, and he also brings you first inning action of Georgetown baseball. Other sponsors of Georgetown you'll hear tonight, G-Town Lumber and Supply. They'll bring you the starting lineups here in a moment, along with the second inning. And Nathaniel Funk of Edward Jones Financial Advisor brings you the third inning and our calls to the bullpen. We'll go to the G-Town Lumber and Supply starting lineups. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. They specialize in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, K-Det lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other. That is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit them at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit their website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. The starting lineup for the Pflugerville Panthers, they are brought to you by head coach Dale Wagner, his assistant coaches Dustin Johnson, Dan Tamez, and Josh Wagner. Pflugerville High School, the superintendent for PFISD is the way they like it, Dr. Douglas Killian. The principal at Pflugerville High School, Zachary Kleypas. Athletic director for the school district, Mike McCurchin. Athletic coordinator at Pflugerville High School, Charles Taylor, and athletic trainer is Lauren De La Torre. The starting lineup for the Pflugerville Panthers will go this way tonight's ball game. Leading it off and playing shortstop will be number 10, Jacob Palmer. Batting second, the pitcher, number 5, Colton Williams. Batting third and playing right field, number 22, Jacob Perez. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 14, Cole Taylor. Batting fifth and in left field, number 17, D'Angelo Williams. Batting sixth, playing third base, number 24, Max Mendoza. Batting seventh, playing second base, number 21, Jordan McGregor. Batting eighth and playing catcher is number 6, Colton Brown. And batting ninth and playing center field, number 1, Ethan Minjarez, the center fielder. So it'll be Palmer, Williams, and Perez, the top third. Taylor, Williams, Mendoza, the middle third. McGregor, Brown, and Minjarez, the bottom third for the Pflugerville Panthers. The starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagles as chosen by head coach Jordan Vieira. He is assisted by Chad Payne, David Durrell, Robert Halm, and Mike Cockrell. Athletic trainer Avery Mon. Stat girls, Grace King, Carter Campbell, Nicole Witt, and Ruby Hellman. Superintendent, Georgetown ISD, Dr. Fred Brent, the principal at Georgetown High School, one of the best in the business, Mr. Brian Johnson. Athletic director, none other than Jason Dean, an award-winning Jason Dean. Look on Twitter today. He was recognized as a athletic director of the Region 6 today. So congratulations to our great athletic director, Jason Dean. Athletic coordinator here at Georgetown High School is Chuck Taylor. Athletic trainers, two of the best in the business, Chad Hennessy and Vanessa Rideau. The starting lineup in center field, number 17, Devin Peterson. At shortstop, number 2, Eli Hellman. Batting third, playing third base, number 4, Brady Peters. Batting fourth, the designated hitter tonight, number 21, Riley Leininger. Batting fifth, playing left field, number 11, that'll be Jackson Rainey. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 20, Talon Ball. Batting seventh and playing first base, number 18, David Fluitt. Behind the plate, again for your Eagles, the senior, number 7, Chance Pernica, back from injury. And batting ninth in right field, number 8, Jacob Faltasek. On the mound for your Eagles is senior number 12, the right-hander, Nolan Jondal. He'll be heaving them from the mound to start the ball game tonight for your Eagles. Quick break. We'll have the national anthem. Come back, ready for first pitch and more action. Georgetown Eagle baseball on SHN here in a moment. Back here live, Eagle Field, Georgetown High School. We get ready for first inning action. The first inning brought to you by Borrow from Morrow. BorrowFromMorrow.com, proud supporter of Georgetown Eagle Athletics. Nolan Jondal to Chance Pernica. The ball goes down to second base as we get ready to roll here in the top of the first. Jondal set to face off against Jacob Palmer, Colton Williams, and Jacob Perez here in the first inning against the Pflugerville Panthers tonight on Benold Junior High Night. We'll bring you some more about that here in a minute. And Jacob Palmer will step in from the right side here to start things off for the Pflugerville Panthers from the right side. The first pitch from Jondal misses up and in, ball one. Camera problems galore on this beautiful night. Couldn't ask for anything better, but instead we get it. And so it'll be a one-camera show right now until we can try to get things worked out. Second pitch, the 1-0 pitch, fouled off down the first baseline. And Palmer will reset with a 1-1 count here early on. Nolan Jondal comes into the ballgame, 1-2 on the year. He's allowed 10 hits, 11 runs, only 5 of them earned. He's walked 7, struck out 12, hit 4, has a 3.00 ERA. The 1-1 pitch popped up on the infield to the right side. Fluid will drop back behind first base and make the catch for out number 1. P3 in the book to retire Palmer for out number 1, and that'll bring up the number 2 hitter in the lineup, the pitcher, number 5, Colton Williams. Colton Williams will step in from the right side. Williams was the catcher of record the other night for Pflugerville on Wednesday night. He went 1 for 3 in the ball game. Nolan Jondal works out of the windup. The first pitch to Colton Williams just misses inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Jacob Palmer was 0 for 4 in the ball game the other night for the Pflugerville Panthers, and the Eagles keep him hitless in the series at 0-5 now. The 1-0 pitch from Jondal just misses high for ball 2. 2-0 the count for Colton Williams. The right fielder, Jacob Perez, waits on deck here in the top half of the first. The 2-0 pitch from Jondal. Ground foul back behind home plate towards the third base dugout. And now 2-1 the count on the pitcher, Colton Williams. Beautiful crowd turning out here for Georgetown fans here in a beautiful night for baseball. They start to fill up the stands for the hometown Eagles. The 2-1 pitch. Breaking pitch misses. Just misses inside. And that'll bring up a 3-1 count to Williams now here with one out in the top of the first. Jondal works from the first base side of the rubber from the windup. The 3-1 pitch right down Main Street for a called strike, and the count runs full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the Colton Williams. Jondal works quickly on the mound, ready to go in. Gets the sign from Pernica. From the windup, the payoff pitch. Breaking pitch. Called strike 3 and sit him down. Number 12, or correction, number 13 on the year. A strikeout looking. First of the night for Jondal. And 2 outs here in the top of the first for the Panthers. Way to come back from behind in that. Down 3-0 in the count, or 2-1 in the count, and then comes back. Gets down 3-1, and now comes back with a strikeout for out number 2, and in steps Jacob Perez, the right fielder, from the left side. Jondal from the windup. First pitch swinging, fouled off down the third baseline, and it'll curl out of play for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Jacob Perez. Perez in the game the other night, 0 for 3 on the night. Was hit by a pitch in the first inning. And now he grounds it out between first and second. Fluid fields it. He'll flip to first. Jondal covering. And the Eagles retire the Panthers in order here in the top of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on after half an inning. Pflugerville 0, Georgetown coming up to bat. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. Borrow from Morrow, Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including their handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. Proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Baseball here on SHN. Colton Williams finishes his warm-ups here as we move to the bottom of the first inning. And the 1, 2, and 3 hitters, Devin Peterson, Eli Hellman, and Brady Peters due up here. Devin Peterson steps in with a .278 batting average on the year. He'll lead things off for the Eagles here. He's 1 for 2 the other night against Pflugerville. Walked twice, stole 2 bases, scored 1 run, was left stranded a couple of times, caught stealing 1 time. And so he'll step in here to lead things off for the Eagles in the bottom of inning number 1. Colton Brown will work from the stretch. First base side of the rubber he stands. Comes set from the stretch. The first pitch is low and in the turf for ball 1 to Devin Peterson. Panther pitchers walked only 4 batters the other night for the, or correction, only walked 4 batters the other night against the Eagles. The 1-0 pitch catches the inside corner for a called strike. 1-1 the count to Devin Peterson. They struck out 4, but more importantly gave up 9 hits. And the Eagles capitalizing on a few errors by the Panthers for the 5-1 win. The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 2. And now Peterson behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Peterson on the year from the plate, 10 RBIs, 15 runs scored, walked 16 times, struck out 13. Steps back in here. The 1-2 pitch from Colton Williams. It misses low and inside, evens out the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Peterson, the junior center fielder, Leading it off here from the right side for the Eagles. Steps back in, ready to go. Colton Williams from the stretch. A look in at his counterpart, Colton Brown. Gets the sign and comes set from the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Peterson takes it, called strike 3. And Peterson recorded on the strikeout, looking for out number 1 here to start the bottom of the first. First strikeout of the ball game for Colton Williams, and that'll bring up the shortstop, number 2, Eli Hellman. Hellman, the senior shortstop, steps in with a .290 batting average on the year. Eli with 6 walks, 6 strikeouts, scored 9 runs, 4 RBIs on the year for the shortstop. Steps in from the right side. Colton Williams gets the sign, comes set from the stretch. The first pitch to Hellman, a swing and a miss, strike 1. Not the speed that you saw the other night from Jacob Palmer. Colton Williams, the catcher, on off nights for the Pflugerville Panthers. A little bit different change of speed. And this ball bounced in the middle into center field. A bouncing base hit finds its way into center field for Eli Hellman. A 1-out single as the first base runner of the ball game for the Eagles. And the first hit of the ball game. And that will bring up the third baseman, number 4, Brady Peters. Nice piece of hitting there by Eli Hellman, the senior shortstop, to get on base with the 1-out. Brady Peterson steps in with a .333 batting average on the year. Hellman the other night was 2 for 3 with 2 stolen bases, scored 3 runs. And look for him to take off here. Taylor holds him on at first base. Colton Williams comes set. A look at first. The first pitch with the slide step in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to Brady Peters. Defensively for the Panthers in the outfield, D'Angelo Williams in left, Minjarez in center field, Perez in right field. Across the infield, Mendoza at third, Palmer at short, McGregor at second, and Taylor at first base. A pickoff attempt over to first base. A throw was high. Hellman caught leaning, dives back in safely thanks to the errant throw. And now we'll all reset with an 0-1 count here to Brady Peters. Behind the plate, Colton Brown. On the mound, Colton Williams. Another throw over. Eli dives back in safely again at first base. Talked about it when he introduced him. Chance Pernica, appearing in his 8th ball game of the year, was out with a broken thumb for the last few ball games here for the Eagles. And he starts back behind the plate tonight for your Eagles again, the senior catcher. Another throw over to first base. And Eli Hellman dives back in safely again. 9 stolen bases on the night, I believe it was on Wednesday night against the Panthers. The Eagles had. So an early job here by Colton Williams to try to keep Eli Hellman at bay. Eli leads off, and he'll take off on the pitch. It's off the glove of the catcher, Colton Brown, and Eli Hellman easily still second base. That'll be a pass ball by the catcher. But the stolen base to Eli Hellman has a runner in scoring position here now with 1 out in the bottom of the first for the Eagles. Eli will lead off second base now. Brady Peters, a 1-1 count. Colton Williams comes set from the stretch. A look back at second, the 1-1 pitch. It's called a strike 2 on the outside corner. So 1 ball, 2 strikes to Brady Peters, the senior third baseman. If you missed it a minute ago, down to 1 camera. Lovely technical difficulties here tonight on a beautiful night. When you think everything would go just perfect, it strikes itself bad on the electronic technical side. The 1-2 pitch fouled off back behind home plate as Peters fights to stay alive in the at-bat. One ball, 2 strikes. Here to Peters with 1 out in the bottom of the first. Eli Hellman, a base hit with 1 out. Stole second base. Leads off second there. Palmer tries to sneak in behind him to keep him close. The 1-2 pitch. Peters fouls it off back behind home plate. Great job of battling here by Brady Peters to stay alive in the at-bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. In the Wednesday night game, Brady Peters 2 for 4 on the night. And an RBI on his double there in the 6th inning. Stole a base. Steps in here with an opportunity to drive in more runs with Hellman at second base. The 1-2 pitch, Hellman running, a base hit into left field. That'll easily score Hellman from second base. And another RBI for Brady Peters as he knocks that one through the 5-6 hole into left field. And that scores Hellman, who was off on the pitch. Brady Peters now, that's RBI number 16 on the year for Brady. And that'll bring up Riley Leiniger, the DH here in tonight's ball game. Leiniger comes in batting .238 on the year. Second hit of the ball game for the Eagles. Leiniger steps in from the left side. Peters leads off first. Taylor holds him on there. 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Eagles still trying to do more damage. The first pitch. Leiniger takes it low and outside. Ball one. RBI-wise for this team, Brady Peters leads it, was by 5, now by 6. 16 RBIs on the year for Brady Peters. Now he leads off first. Leiniger ready back to go. Williams comes set. The 1-0 pitch. Misses again for ball 2. 2-0 the count. To Riley Leiniger. Riley 0 for 3 in the ball game. And an RBI sac fly. Scored a run. Scored Hellman the other night. The second run of the ball game for the Eagles. Reached on an error and another at bat. Steps in here, a throw over to first. Brady Peters dives back in safely. 1 out here in the bottom of the first. 1 run all across the board so far here in the bottom of the first for the Eagles. An early 1-0 lead. Colton Williams comes set to look at first base. The 2-0 pitch to Leiniger. Misses up and away. Ball 3. Jackson Rainey, the left fielder tonight, steps in on deck for the Eagles. Trying to get this crowd going. Colton Williams comes set again. A look over at first base. 3-0 the count to Leiniger. The 3-0 pitch. A low one inside. Peters takes off for second base as it got behind the catcher, but the walk moves him up to second base with a free pass. Leiniger down to first base. The first walk issued to the ball game by Colton Williams. Will bring to the plate the left-handed hitting junior outfielder, Jackson Rainey. Now a visit down the third baseline. Rainey, Peters, Leiniger, and Talon Ball all gather in. And now Jackson Rainey, the left-handed hitting left fielder, steps in. The .308 average on the year. Rainey has 6 RBIs on the year, scored 9 runs, walked 7 times, struck out 5. Been hit by 2 pitches. Steps back in here now for the first time from the left side. 1 out, runners on first and second for the Eagles. Colton Williams looks in, now comes set from the stretch. A look back at second base. First pitch to Rainey, low and outside, ball 1. 5 balls in a row now for Colton Williams after a hot start. A strikeout looking of Devin Peterson to start the bottom half of the first, and now 2 back-to-back singles and a walk. Has runners on first and second and a run in here for the Eagles early on. Williams comes set, looks back at second. Peters with not much of a lead. The 1-0 pitch, and this one misses low and inside. Ball 2, 2-0 the count. 7 straight balls thrown by Colton Williams here in the bottom of the first. Rainey steps out, gets the sign from Coach Vieira, now back in the box from the left side. Williams a long look into his catcher, Colton Brown. He'll get the sign and come set. Peters leads off second, Leiniger off first. Williams a look back at second. And now the 2-0 pitch, low and in the turf for ball 3. Got to imagine on the 3-0 pitch here, Rainey has a large red-colored sign after 7 straight balls thrown by Colton Williams. Williams comes set, the 3-0 pitch. Misses outside, ball 4, the 8th ball in a row. Has the bases full of Eagle runners now with 1 out. And up to bat comes number 20, Talon Ball.
Now back for Georgetown, number 20, Talon Ball.
And now a visit here from one of the coaching staffs, not head coach Del Wagner, but one of his assistants, and he'll bring the infield in to visit with the Panthers. Quick timeout, more Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. short mound visit there by the Panthers coaching staff. The infield returns. The corners playing up on the grass for the Panthers as Talon Ball, your junior second baseman, steps in from the right side. Ball hitting .286 on the year. Steps in with bases loaded and one out. Middle infielders, a double play depth. First pitch inside, misses for ball one. Just talking here with my trusty helper tonight, my son Simeon Harmon. It is so tempting in a situation like this to go to that hometown Bluebell Park in College Station where they start chanting. Ball 8, now ball 9 in a row for Colton Williams. Struggling on the mound. The 1-0 pitch to ball, misses low and outside, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Talon Ball with David Fluett, the sophomore first baseman, on deck for your Eagles. An opportunity here for the Eagles to put several runs on the board in the bottom of the first with the bases loaded and one out. Williams, the 2-0 pitch, misses outside, ball 3. Then it takes me back to my Major League movie days of Bob Uecker. Ball 4, ball 8, ball 12. 11 in a row here for Colton Williams. The Eagle hitters being very patient. As Williams tries to find the zone again. The 3-0 pitch misses low and outside, ball 4. That'll walk in a run for the Eagles. The second of the inning as Brady Peters comes in. And that will give Talon Ball an RBI on the night as well. And that is the third walk in a row. A pitcher up, warming up in the Panther bullpen already. I'll try to look down and see who that is. It looks to be number 13 warming up for the Panthers. That'll be Aiden Bradley. Williams comes set against Fluett. The first pitch to Fluett right down the middle. And after 12 straight balls, Williams finds the strike zone. 0-1 to count to the sophomore, David Fluett, batting .296 on the season. Leininger at third, Rainey at second, Talon Ball at first. Bases full of Eagles with one out. The 0-1 pitch to Fluett. Misses outside, evens up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. Two runs on 2 hits so far here in the inning. Eagles threatening for more with the bases loaded and 1 out. Colton Williams a look in, comes set with a pitch. The 1-1 pitch, and Fluett fouls it off down the third baseline, out of play. And now Fluett behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. On the season, Fluett with 3 RBIs. Scored 4 runs, walked 5 times, struck out 5. He's been hit by a pitch 1 time. Steps in here with bases loaded and 1 out. Back in from the left side. Williams a long look in to get his pitch. And now he'll come set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch to Fluett. Misses way outside, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fluett, the lone sophomore, here on the Georgetown Eagle varsity baseball team. He's kind of staked his claim at first base here in this season, doing a great job over there. Steps back in here with a 2-2 count and 1 out. Williams comes set, the 2-2 pitch. Fluett takes it outside. It's off the catcher's mitt, back to the backstop. But the runners stay put as Colton Brown got a good jump on that one there. And now the count goes full to Fluett. 3 balls and 2 strikes. With 1 out here in the bottom of the first. 2 runs across here for the Eagles in the bottom of the first. They have a 2-run lead early in this ball game. Williams comes set, the payoff pitch. Fluett drives it out to the mound. Colton Williams is going to field it. He throws on, but it can't be handled by Colton Brown. The throw was low, and that'll score Riley Leininger on the error there. So Fluett reaches on a fielder's choice. Williams almost went to turn 2, but he came home. And the throw was low and down in the turf. Could not be handled by Brown. See who they scored the error on. They didn't put it up. But an error on either the pitcher or catcher, and that'll bring up Chance Pernicka. With 1 out and the base is still loaded. 3-0 your score. First pitch to Pernicka, and he pops it up on the infield. But this one's going to curl back out of play. Off the top of the awning. 4 strike 1 to Chance Pernicka. Leininger scores on that error. Jackson Rainey up to third. Talon Ball to second. David Fluett down to first on the fielder's choice. 0-1 the count to Chance Pernicka. The 0-1 pitch, low and outside, ball one. Count evens up at 1-1. Pernicka settles back in from the right side. Williams comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Pernicka takes it high and outside, ball two. 2-1 now the count. To the catcher, Chance Pernicka. In his 7 ball games he's appeared in this season, Pernicka has only appeared at the plate 21 times, 19 official at-bats, batting 105 on this season in his limited appearances. Steps in here, bases loaded, the 2-1 pitch, ground ball, high bouncer, fielded at third. Mendoza up with it, steps on the bag, throws across the diamond. Taylor comes off the bag and catches the ball and tags Pernicka before he can touch the base, and the Panthers get out of the inning without giving up any more runs on the double play. 5 unassisted on the play at third base, and then 5-3 on the putout for the double play. And the Eagles are retired here in the bottom of the first, but not before they get 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 runners left on base. After 1 complete inning, Georgetown leads it 3-0 over Pflugerville. Quick timeout. Back with more Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. We come back to the top of the second. The top of the second brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply. Located at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas. And Nolan Jondal on to work. Inning number 2 faces off against the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. The first pitch to Taylor. A ball hit into left field, but the line drive right at Jackson Rainey. Doesn't move his feet. Makes the catch for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out. L7 in the book. And Taylor down for out number 1, bringing up the left fielder, number 17, D'Angelo Williams. Jondal only threw 11 pitches in the top of the first inning. Steps back in here. The top of the second with 1 out now. Against the left-handed hitting D'Angelo Williams. Jondal from the windup. The first pitch to Williams. In there for a called strike. 0-1 the count to D'Angelo Williams. Williams, 1 for 3 in the ball game last week, or Wednesday. Scored a run, walked 1 time. The 0-1 pitch fouled off back to the screen. And now the count, no balls and 2 strikes to the left-handed hitting left fielder. The Eagles bring up 8 men in the bottom half of the first and put 3 runs on the board to take the early 3-0 lead. Jondal from the windup, the 0-2 pitch fouled off, back out of play down the third baseline. And D'Angelo Williams stays alive. 0-2 the count. Max Mendoza and Max Mendoza on deck, the third baseman, with 1 out here in the top of the second. Jondal with the look in, gets the signal, and from the windup, the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. The second strikeout. I got ahead of myself. The second strikeout of the ball game for Nolan Jondal, 14th on the season. And there's 2 outs here in the top of the second for the Pflugerville Panthers. Max Mendoza, the third baseman, steps in. 2 outs and the base is empty. First pitch to Mendoza. Just misses low for ball 1. Mendoza 0 for 4 in the ball game on Wednesday night. Struck out once, couple of ground outs and a pop out. The 1-0 pitch misses up and in, ball 2. 2-0 the count now to Mendoza with Jordan McGregor on deck. Should Mendoza extend the inning for the Panthers here in the top of the second. The 2-0 pitch just misses for ball 3. 3-0 the count. Pernica with the signs. Jondal from the windup. The 3-0 pitch right down the heart of the plate for a called strike. 3-1 now the count to Mendoza. Nolan Jondal works from behind. The 3-1 pitch and a blind drive hit out past second base over the head of Dallin Ball, and that's in the gap. And Faltasek gives chase. Mendoza around first. He's headed to second base as Faltasek throws it in. And it's cut off by Eli Hellman, but a 2-out double by Max Mendoza. First hit of the ball game for the Panthers. An extra base hit. That'll bring up Jordan McGregor, the second baseman. He'll be stepping in from the right side. McGregor 1 for 3 on the night, on Wednesday night. Struck out twice, walked once, singled once. Steps in here with 2 outs and a runner on second for the Panthers. Nolan will move to the stretch for the Eagles. Still works from the first base side of the rubber. Comes set, he'll look back at second base. The first pitch to McGregor. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Colton Brown moves on deck for the Panthers. Should McGregor reach base here in the top of the second inning. Nolan Jondal gets set. A look back at Mendoza. Leads off second base. Another look back. And now he'll turn towards second. No throw as Mendoza dives back in. Special shout out to the Georgetown Eagle Fight Never Dies Baseball Booster Club. Pre-game cookout down at the pavilion. The 0-1 pitch to McGregor, outside corner, called strike 2. 0-2 now the count. Some pulled pork, some sausage, lots of goodies down there on the pavilion. Appreciate the opportunity to have a meal with them. Feed us before this ball game. Thank you to the boosters. The 0-2 pitch. Low and outside. Good scoop there by Pernica to keep it in front of him and keep Mendoza at second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the second as the stands continue to fill up, full of Eagle fans here. Jondal comes set. The 1-2 pitch and a ball sliced foul down the first baseline, out of play. And McGregor stays alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs here for the Panthers. Benold Middle School, junior high. Special attendees here tonight as they fill in and watch Eagle baseball. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. And Jondal gets out of the inning after this 2-out double. His 3rd strikeout of the ball game. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left on base. After an inning and a half, Georgetown leads it 3-0. Jared Frem will get the crowd going. We'll take a quick break. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. back for the bottom of the second inning. And Colton Williams goes back to the mound for inning number 2 here for the Panthers. He'll face off against the 9-1-2 hitters here in the ballgame for the Eagles. Faltasek, Peterson, and Hellman. First pitch to Faltasek, misses low and inside, ball 1. 35 pitches thrown in the first for Colton Williams as he starts the second here. Working from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch to Faltasek, and Faltasek will send it into left field. Oh, Jacob Palmer. Nice play there. He drifted back into the outfield grass and leaps up and makes the catch for out number 1. I thought Faltasek got him a little Texas leaguer over the head of Palmer. I'll go with an L6 in the book for out number 1. And that'll bring up Devin Peterson. He struck out looking in the first inning, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Peterson steps in here with the bases empty and 1 out. First pitch, low and outside, ball 1 to the leadoff hitter, Devin Peterson. G-Town Lumber and Supply, your second inning sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Baseball here on SHN. The 1-0 pitch to Peterson, low and inside. Hits the back padding and comes back to the catcher. 2-0 now the count to Peterson. Peterson settles in. Williams gets the pitch and now comes set from the stretch. The 2-0 pitch to Devin. Ground ball fouled off back towards the third base dugout. Now a 2-1 count for Devin Peterson. One out here in the bottom of the second. So far in the ball game, 3 runs on 2 hits. No errors for the Eagles. The 2-1 pitch just misses inside, ball 3. 3-1 the count. Now to Devin Peterson. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error. Through an inning and a half for the Panthers. Williams comes set. The 3-1 pitch to Peterson is going to have to wait as Williams took his time and Devin Peterson got done waiting on that one. He calls time, steps out, and resets himself from the right-handed side. Peterson ready, now back at the box. Williams gets the sign and comes set. The 3-1 pitch misses up high for ball 4. And a 1-out walk, the 4th walk of the ball game issued by Williams. Gets Devin Peterson on base. With 1 out, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Eli Hellman. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Singled and stole a base, scored the first run of the ball game for the Eagles. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at first base, Peterson. Will lead off first. Taylor will hold him on there. Williams will look at first. The first pitch to Hellman. Hellman takes it for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas. Serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. Williams comes set after a look over at first base. 0-1 the count to Hellman. The 0-1 pitch as Peterson takes off, and Hellman sends it into right center field. The center fielder gives chase, and it's off his glove and on the ground. He couldn't get to it. Peterson had to hold up. He gets to second, around third. He's being waved. Hellman will slide into third base on the triple, and the throw from the outfield goes into the dugout, and Eli Hellman will come in to score on the throwing error from Minjarez. So a triple for Eli Hellman, the RBI triple, and then he scores on the error. Second of the ball game for the Panthers. What a piece of hitting there by Hellman as he got it up in that wind we were talking about before the game as we were setting up the camera before it stopped working. Someone gets it up in that wind, balls will fly, and Minjarez gave chase, but just off the tip of his glove on a full sprint towards the wall, and it hits for a triple. Eli Hellman, what a shot there. Peterson scores all the way from first base, and then Hellman comes in on the throwing error that Got over the head of the third baseman, Mendoza, into the dugout. First pitch, swinging by Peters, and he'll send it into right field. A one-out single for Brady Peters keeps the inning going for the Eagles. Peters now 2 for 2 in the ballgame. Barely had time to get done making all the notations in my scorebook. Peters sends the first pitch into right field. For a base hit, and that'll bring up Riley Leiniger. But another visit, this one from head coach Del Wagner. Maybe having a pitching change for the Panthers. We'll take a timeout, come back and let you know. You're listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball on SHN. And now the first pitching change of the ball game brings about the Nathaniel Funk call to the bullpen. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander, Georgetown. Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. So into the ball game pitching for the Pflugerville Panthers will be number 9, Jaden Oswald. Oswald will go to the mound. He'll come into the ball game in the number 8 position in the lineup for Colton Brown, the catcher. Colton Williams, the pitcher, will move back behind the plate as the catcher for the Panthers. So Oswald comes in here with 1 out in the top of the second inning. Colton Williams will be responsible for the runner on first base in Brady Peters. And we'll look to finish up all his stats through an inning and a third for the Panthers. The second inning brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply, located 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serving general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. Specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, KDAT Lumber, and Corbell's hometown service like none other. That is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit them at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin or visit their website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. So into bat will be number 21, Riley Leiniger. He walked in the top of the first inning, or bottom of the first inning, and came around to score one of the 3 runs in the first inning for the Eagles. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at first base. The first pitch from Oswald misses up for ball 1. So Colton Williams goes an inning and a third. He allows 4 hits, 5 runs, struck out 1, walked 4. And Oswald takes over here with 1 out, a runner on first in the top of the second. Oswald will come set from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. The breaking pitch is low and in for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Riley Leiniger. So it was scored an RBI triple for Eli Hellman. And then he scored on the throwing error from Minharas from the outfield and got into the Georgetown dugout. The 2-0 pitch ripped down the first base line all the way to the corner by Leininger. He's around first, headed to second. Peters chugs around second. He'll head to third, and he'll be held up there. A one-out double by Riley Leininger, and that's the Leininger of old from last year, ripping balls down the first baseline. And he got on that one quickly there on the 2-0 pitch and drives it down to the right field corner for the double. So now runners on second and third. Leininger 1 for 1 on the ballgame now with that double. 5th hit of the ballgame for the Eagles. And that'll bring up Jackson Rainey. He reached on a base on balls back in the first inning. Was left stranded at third base. And now Brady Peters at third. Riley Leininger at second as Jackson Rainey steps in from the left side with one out. The infield in for the Panthers. Oswald comes set. The first pitch to Rainey. Fouled off back to the screen as you hear the mic rattle around. The 0-1 to count to Jackson Rainey, the junior left fielder. Oh, and 1 to count to the left-handed hitting left fielder, Jackson Rainey. He gets ready and steps back in for the left side. Oswald works from the middle of the rubber. In the stretch here. Comes set. Leininger a large lead off second. Peters leads off third. A 1-0 pitch fouled off back to the screen again. And now Rainey behind the count, no balls and 2 strikes. 5 runs on 5 hits for the Eagles. Here in the bottom of the second. No runs, 1 hit, 2 errors for the Panthers. Oswald comes set. The 0-2 pitch to Rainey. Rainey slaps it foul towards the third base dugout. A lot different pitching speed here between what you saw from Colton Williams and now from number 9, Oswald. Jaden Oswald, the right-handed pitcher, on in relief after an inning and a third for the Panthers. Gets the sign and comes set. Rainey chokes up from the left side. The 0-2 pitch. Rainey chops it foul back behind home plate. Stays alive in the at-bat. Nice at-bat here as Rainey does battle with an 0-2 count to stay alive. Brady Peters, a 1-out single. Moves to third on the 1-out double by Riley Leininger down the right field line. Devin Peterson led off the inning after an out from Faltasek, a line drive caught by the shortstop Palmer. The 0-2 pitch to Rainey. Swing and a miss. And Rainey down on strikes for out number 2. Second strikeout of the ball game for Panther pitchers. First of the ball game for Oswald.
Now batting for Georgetown, number 20.
That'll bring up the second baseman, Talon Ball. Talon walked in his first at bat. Credited with the RBI that brought Brady Peters in on the bases loaded walk. Steps in here with 2 outs and runners on second and third. First pitch misses low for ball 1. Oswald, a long look in for the sign from Colton Williams. Too long for Talon Ball's liking. He'll call time and step out. 1 ball, no strikes to Talon Ball here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second. 5-0. Georgetown leads it over the Panthers. Still threatening here in the bottom of the second with the runners on second and third. Peters leads off third. Leininger off second. Oswald comes set. The 1-0 pitch misses low and outside. Ball 2. Infield back to normal depth here with 2 outs in the inning. And now Minhares moves from the right side, shaded to the right field side of center field. Now he moves to the left side, shaded to the left of second base in center field. The 2-0 pitch. It's down to the turf, gets away from Williams, and that'll score Brady Peters from third base. Leininger will move up to third from second base on the wild pitch by Oswald. That'll be the 6th run of the ball game, and that run falls back on Colton Williams as he had allowed Peters on base on the single to right field with 1 out before he came out of the ball game. 3-0 the count to Talon Ball. Oswald from the stretch, the 3-0 pitch, low and outside in the turf. Good scoop by Williams to keep it in front of him. And Talon Ball reaches first base for the second time in a row on the walk. And that'll bring up David Fluett. He reached first on a fielder's choice, 0 for 1 in the ball game.
Now batting number 18, David Lewis.
Fluett steps in from the left side, the first baseman. 2 outs and runners on the corners. Talon Ball will lead off first. He'll be held on by Taylor. He gets a large lead at first base. Oswald comes set. He'll take off on the pitch. The throw down from Williams, not in time. Talon Ball still second, standing up. And now runners back on second and third for the Eagles with 2 outs. I want to know the count to David Fluett. Oswald looks in and gets the sign from Williams. Comes set from the stretch. The runners lead off second and third. The 1-0 pitch to Fluett, and that hit him. And so Leininger will have to retreat back to third base on the dead ball, hit by a pitch. First batter hit by a pitch for the Eagles tonight. Fluett takes first base. And now bases are loaded for the Eagles. And Chance Pernicka will step in.
Now batting for Georgetown, number 7, Chance Pernicka.
With the bases loaded on 2 outs. Same situation that Pernicka found himself in the bottom of the first. And he grounded into a inning double play. Mendoza fielded it at third, stepped on the bag, and threw across the first in time for the double play to get out of the bottom of the first. Pernicka steps back in with bases loaded and 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. The first pitch to Pernicka, low and outside for ball 1. 9th batter of the inning for the Eagles here in the bottom of the second. They had 8 batters in the first inning, 9 here in the second. 6-0 your score. 3 runs in the first for the Eagles, 3 runs here in the second. Thanks in part to 4 walks. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. Thanks in part to 5 walks and a couple of errors by the Panthers. The Eagles have taken advantage of that here early on in the ball game. Pernicka back in from the right side, ready to go for the 1-1 pitch. Oswald comes set. The 1-1 pitch being delivered. Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Chance Pernicka. The senior catcher 0 for 1 in the ball game. Oswald will come set. The 1-2 pitch to Pernicka. Breaking pitch. Popped up on the right side of the infield. McGregor will call for it and make the catch for out number 3. P4 in the book to retire Pernicka, but not before the Eagles pick up 3 runs on 3 hits. 2 errors. Correction, 1 error. And 3 runners left on base. After 2 complete innings, 6-0, Georgetown leads it over Pflugerville. G-Town Lumber Supply brought you the second inning action of Eagle Baseball. Proud sponsors of Georgetown Eagle Baseball here on SHN Sports. A quick timeout and more Eagle Baseball after this on SHN. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, suite number 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you Georgetown Eagle baseball here in the third inning. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. Nolan Jondal on to work the third inning of the ball game for Georgetown. 26 pitches through 2 innings for Jondal, and he'll face off against Diego Mora. First pitch from Jondal outside. Diego Mora comes in as the designated hitter in Colton Brown's spot. The 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count. Brown came out from behind the plate as the catcher in the pitching change. The 1-1 pitch to Mora, and he'll send it into left center field. Devin Peterson on the run. No! What a play by Eli Helmet. Put a gold star on that one. He took off into the outfield and left center field gap and caught the ball over his head. Nice play there by Eli Helmet to rob a hit from Mora. And that'll be 1 out here in the top of the third. L6 retires Mora. And that'll bring up the center fielder, number 1, Ethan Minjares. Ethan steps in from the left side with 1 out here in the top of the third and takes the first pitch high for ball 1. Through 2 innings, Nolan Jondal allowed 1 hit, struck out 3 for the Eagles. 1 out here in the top of the third. The 1-0 pitch misses for ball 2. Just to keep you updated, down to 1 camera tonight. Of course, on a beautiful night for baseball, and that's when we have the most problems. So we bring you the best picture we can here tonight. The 2-0 pitch misses Lewin inside ball 3, a 3-0 count to the center fielder for the Panthers, the number 9 hitter in the lineup with Jacob Palmer, the top of the lineup on deck for the Panthers here in the third. Jondal from the windup, the 3-0 pitch right down Main Street for a called strike. 3-1 now the count to the center fielder, Ethan Minjares. I'm going to mess it up enough, so I'll just stay with Ethan. The 3-1 pitch from Jondal misses low and inside. First walk issued by Jondal on the evening. As a 1-out base runner for the Panthers. Jacob Palmer will come up here with 1 out and a runner at first. Palmer 0 for 1 in the ball game, 0 for 5 in the series between these two teams. Popped up to the first baseman Fluid back in the top of the first to lead things off. Jondal moves to the stretch. A look over at first. The first pitch to Palmer, ground line drive, hit out to shortstop. And Ethan took off running there. And Eli Helman snags the line drive for the second out. Throws the Fluid at first for out number 3 to force Ethan out at first base. And the double play gets the Panthers retired here in the top of the third. No runs on no hits, no errors, and no runners left on. After 2.5 innings, 6-0 your score. Georgetown leads it over Pflugerville. More Eagle baseball here in a moment on SHN. Nathaniel Funk, your Georgetown, Leander, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk. He brings you inning number 3 here of Eagle Baseball, but he also brings you another call to the bullpen. The Georgetown Eagles have now forced the third pitcher of the ballgame for the Pflugerville Panthers as number 35, Diego Mora, stays in the ballgame after hitting in the number 8 slot and comes to the mound for the Eagles, their third pitcher of the ballgame. Here in inning number 3, 1 1/3 inning for Colton Williams, 2/3 of an inning for Oswald, and now Mora takes over, and he'll face off against the 9-1-2 hitters as Faltasek steps in here to lead off the bottom of the third again after he led off the second. He's 0 for 1 in the ballgame. The first pitch is high for ball 1. Mora throws from the left side. The lefty works from the third base side of the rubber. Nope, now he moves into the middle of the rubber, throwing from the stretch. Mora will come set. Faltasek ready from the right side. The 1-0 pitch to Faltasek. Low and outside in the turf for ball 2. So the rest of the Panther defense stays intact. No more movement there other than Mora coming into to pitch for Oswald. Mora comes set. The 2-0 pitch to Faltasek. Misses outside, ball 3. The catcher, Williams, kind of hesitated his throwback. Thought it was on the corner. And now a 3-0 count to Jacob Faltasek. 6 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Eagles through 2.5. No runs, 1 hit, 2 errors for the Panthers. The 3-0 pitch to Faltasek in the turf, low for ball 4. Faltasek will take off down to first base. A leadoff man aboard for the Eagles here in the bottom of the third. First walk for Mora, 6th of the ball game by Panther pitchers. Through an inning and a third, Colton Williams allowed 4 hits, 6 runs, 1 strikeout, 4 walks. He threw 44 pitches. Oswald came in relief in his 2/3 of an inning. He allowed 1 hit, struck out 1, walked 1, hit 1 batter, threw 17 pitches. The first pitch to Devin Peterson, the number 1 hitter in the Eagle lineup, is high for ball 1. Peterson 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out the first, walked, and scored a run in the second. So he scored on the Eli Hellman triple to center field. Mora comes set. The 1-0 pitch to Peterson. Misses low for ball 2. 2-0 the count to the center fielder, Devin Peterson. On deck, Eli Hellman for your Eagles. Mora a look in, comes set from the stretch. A look at first base. The 2-0 pitch. Misses outside, ball 3. 3-0 the count now to Devin Peterson, the center fielder. The 3-0 pitch. It's in there for a called strike. Taking all the way was Peterson. And now a 3-1 count for the center fielder. Hitter's pitch count right here, 3-1. Faltasek with a good lead off first base. Taylor holds him on there. Mora will come set. A look over at first base. The 3-1 pitch. Peterson fouls it back out of play on the first base side. And the count runs full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Devin Peterson settles back in from the right side. Mora a long look in. Now gets the pitch and comes set. The lefty a look at first base. He'll throw over, and Faltasek will dive back in safely at first base. 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs here in the bottom of the third. The Eagles would love to push some more runs across here and end this one early on a Friday night. 10-run rule in effect on district play as well. 10 runs after 5 innings. Can end it early. Mora comes set. The payoff pitch to Peterson. Faltasek off running, but he can slow it down as the ball 4 allows Peterson to reach base on back-to-back trips to the plate. He draws a walk. Now runners at first and second base.
Next up for the Eagles for 2, Eli Helming.
7th walk of the ball game for Panther pitchers. And Eli Helmon to step in. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game, a single and a triple as an RBI. And a stolen base, scored 2 runs. A good night here for Eli Helmon. Mora comes set. The first pitch to Helmon, way outside, ball 1. Eli scored after the triple on the throw in from Minjarez in the outfield. It was over the head of Mendoza and bounced into the Eagle dugout. Allowed Helmon to come around and score there in the second inning. Mora comes set from the stretch. A look back at second base. The 1-0 pitch. Skips in there. The runners are off. And now the throw goes into third base. A double still there. And the throwing error into the left field will allow Peterson to score from second. Or Faltasek to score from second. And Peterson to slide into third base where he'll empty out the turf pellets from the uniform. What a hustle there as D'Angelo Williams got it in. Peterson slid in under the tag. So the third error of the ball game, E2, allows Faltasek to score after the double steal. That'll be the 7th run of the ball game. The Eagles lead it 7-0. And now Eli Helmon steps out as Coach Vieira talks to Peterson over at third to let him recover after the slide in there to make sure he's fine. Now Mora toes the rubber. 2-0 the count to Eli Helmon. Now with no outs and a runner at third. 1 run across so far here in the bottom of the third for your Georgetown Eagles. Mora's 2-0 pitch. Driven into right field. Perez comes in. He'll make the catch. Peterson will tag up, and he'll score easily standing from third base. And sac fly for Eli Helmon. What a night he's having at the plate in the number 2 hole for your Eagles. The sac fly RBI scores Peterson from third, and that will be the 8th run of the ball game for the Eagles.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 4.
A beautiful trend here in the ball game for the Eagles, as they have put up a crooked number in all 3 innings so far. 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, and they lead it 8-0 over the Panthers of Pflugerville. Now steps in Brady Peters. He's 2 for 2 on the night. The first pitch from Mora way outside for ball 1. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. 2 runs across for the Eagles. Peters steps in with 1 out and the base is empty. 1-0 the count. Mora, the lefty, comes set from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch to Peters. Misses low, ball 2. 2-0 the count. To the third baseman, Brady Peters, 2 for 2 on the night. 2 singles. He scored 2 runs. An RBI single in the first scored Eli Helmon from second base. Mora comes set, the 2-0 pitch. Peters will take that one in there for a called strike. 2-1 now the count. The 2-1 pitch from Mora. Skips in there low for ball 3. 3-1 now the count as Brady Peters way ahead. In the at-bat. Mora will come set. The 3-1 pitch. Peters, a swing and a miss. Pitch on the outside corner. Brings us to a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. To the senior third baseman, Brady Peters. Mora gets the sign, comes set. The payoff pitch to Brady Peters. Ground ball up the middle over the head of Mora. And into center field. A 3 for 3 night so far for Brady Peters. 3 singles on the night. A 1-out single has a runner on first, and that'll bring up the big left-handed hitting Riley Leininger. He's 1 for 1 on the night. Walked in the first and scored a run. Doubled down the right field line. In the second inning, was left stranded at third base. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at first. Mora, look over at first base. The first pitch to Leininger is swing and a miss, strike one. Leininger was the first batter faced in inning number 2 by Oswald in relief. And he treated Oswald rudely with a 2-0 pitch driven down the right field line for a double. Steps in here with a chance to keep things going for the Eagles in the bottom of the third. The 0-1 pitch. Leininger will take it. A bender in there for a called strike. 0-2 the count. Mora so far has allowed 1 hit and 2 runs. Walked 2. A throwing error down the third baseline. Scored 1 of the runs. The 0-2 pitch to Leininger. Down in the turf. Good block there by Colton Williams. Keep Brady Peters down at first base. 1-2 now the count. Next Tuesday night, we'll be on the road at Elgin High School to take on the Elgin Wildcats in the first of 2 games. Next week against the Wildcats. We'll be live on SHN, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch. The 1-2 pitch misses low and outside, ball 2. The count evens up at 2-2 to Riley Leininger. Jackson Rainey, the left fielder, waits on deck for the Eagles here in the bottom of the third. If you can't make it out to Elgin, join us live here on SHN. But if not, come out to Elgin and join us as the Eagles continue on in their district play against the Elgin Wildcats. The 2-2 pitch, low for ball 3. And after an 0-2 start in this at-bat, Riley Leininger has worked a full count now with 1 out and a runner at first. Looking for a good pitch to hit here with Brady Peters down at first base. Peters, the 1-out single up the middle. His 3rd hit of the ball game. The Eagles look to continue to do more damage. Mora comes set. The payoff pitch to Leininger. Leininger hits it into right field. Perez on the backtrack, and he's going to make the catch as he catches it backpedaling towards the wall, and he'll throw it in as Peters retreats to first base. Leininger almost got it over the head of Perez, but Perez makes the catch for out number 2, F9 in the book. And that'll bring up Jackson Rainey with 2 outs and a runner at first. And then Thursday night, back live at the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street, the Georgetown Eagle Baseball Coaches Show live with Coach Jordan Vieira. Mora, the lefty, looks into Williams for the sign. Takes too long, so Rainey will take a step back. Call time and reset. Rainey 0 for 1 in the ball game. Walked in the first and left stranded at third base. Struck out swinging in the second. Steps in here with 2 outs and a runner at first. Mora comes set now. The lefty-lefty matchup, the first pitch. And Rainey fouls it off back to the screen. 0-1 the count to the junior left fielder, Jackson Rainey. Started the night batting .308. Back in from the left side. Mora comes set. The 0-1 pitch, low and outside, ball 1. 1-1 the count now to Jackson Rainey. That one was down in the turf. Colton Williams blocks it and keeps it out in front of the plate. So Peters unable to advance to second base. Having to stay a little bit closer with the left-handed pitcher now. So he has a good look over at the runner. Mora looks in for the sign. Peters leads off first. Taylor holds him on there. Mora comes set. He'll look over at Peters. The 1-1 pitch. Way outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count now to Rainey. And then the week continues next week as we go back against Elgin on Friday night, live here from Eagle Field on Georgetown's campus for game number 2 against the Wildcats. A lot of opportunities to join in the fun here. This Eagle baseball team. Mora comes set. And time called. Taking a lot of time on the mound between Mora and Williams. Rainey calls time and steps out as he was granted the timeout. So we'll all reset as Peters leads back off first. Taylor holds him on. Mora comes set. Rainey to go in the left side, left-handed batter's box. The 2-1 pitch, low and inside, ball 3. So a hitter's count coming here for Jackson Rainey, 3-1. With 2 outs and a runner at first, Peters Reached on the RB or the one-out single. Could not advance as Leininger sent one deep into right field, but Perez made the catch on the run, keeping it from getting over his head. Mora comes set, the 3-1 pitch. On the outside corner, Rainey dropped the bat and wanted to take off. But a called strike makes it a full count now. So Peters will be off with the pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Mora comes set. The payoff pitch. Rainey sends it into left center field. Minjares cruises over towards left center field gap, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. But not before your Eagles pick up 2 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base. After 3 complete innings, no runs, 1 hit, 3 errors for the Panthers. 8 runs, 6 hits, no errors for your Georgetown Eagles. Nathaniel Funk, Edward Jones, advisor, brings you Georgetown Eagle Baseball here in the 3rd inning. A quick break, more Eagle Baseball after this on SHN. We go to the top of the 4th inning. Nolan Jondal on to work his 4th inning of the night. He'll face off against the 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Colton Williams steps in to lead it off. He is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out looking back in the first. Steps in here. Takes the first pitch. Low and inside for ball 1. Nolan Jondal, 35 pitches through 3 innings on the night. 1-0 pitch. Just misses inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Through 3 innings of work, Jondal has allowed 1 hit, no runs, struck out 3, walked 1. The 2-0 pitch to Williams. Misses low, ball 3. The 3-0 pitch. Coming now to Colton Williams. It's in there for a called strike, right down the heart of the plate. And now Nolan Jondal will work from behind to try to get back on top of Colton Williams, the catcher. Jondal from the windup. The 3-1 pitch. Up and in, ball 4. Second walk issued by Jondal on the night. And the leadoff man is aboard for the Panthers here in the top of the 4th inning. That'll bring up Jacob Perez, the right fielder. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game as he grounded out to Fluid at first base. Fluid made the play and tossed it to Jondal covering. First pitch to Perez, inside, ball 1. Quite a task for Jondal each and every inning so far here in the ball game. He's had to wait a copious amount of time as the Eagle offense has gone to work in each inning. The 1-0 pitch to Perez, fouled off, back out of play down the 3rd baseline. 1-1 now, the count to the left-handed hitting right fielder, Jacob Perez. Cole Taylor, the first baseman, awaits on deck for the Panthers. 11 pitches thrown in the first, 15 in the second, only 9 thrown in inning number 3 by Nolan Jondal. Thanks in part to the double play, the line drive to Eli Hellman. He threw behind the runner at first base to Fluid to double off the runner for out number 3. The 1-1 pitch to Perez, up high, ball 2. 2-1 to count. The 2 walks in the ball game makes 9 walks on the year issued by Nolan Jondal, compared to 15 strikeouts on the year. The 2-1 pitch to Perez misses outside, ball 3. 3-1 now the count. Williams, Perez, Taylor, the 3 hitters due up here in the inning. Williams reaches on a leadoff walk. Now Perez ahead in the count. 3 balls and a strike. Jondal comes set from the stretch. The 3-1 pitch. The line drive smashed towards the Pflugerville dugout as they scatter down in the dugout. The count runs full to Perez. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Nolan looks in, gets the sign from Pernica. Now he'll step off, and Pernica will go out to visit with Nolan. 3 runs in the bottom of the first, 3 in the bottom of the second, 2 in the bottom of the third. Has your Eagles ahead 8-0 after 3 complete innings here with the Pflugerville Panthers. The Eagles try to maintain the undefeated status here in district play, the lone undefeated team in district play through 3 games before tonight's matchups between district opponents. An opportunity to stay atop the district standings with another win. Leading it 8-0 after 3. Jondal comes set. The payoff pitch to Perez, and a ball fouled off down the third baseline, and it will be out of the reach of a hustling Jackson Rainey. So Rainey will throw that one back in, and we'll do it all again on a full count to Jacob Perez. No outs here in the top of the 4th. The leadoff man aboard on a base on balls is the catcher, Colton Williams. Williams leads off first. Fluitt holds him on there. Jondal comes set. The payoff pitch. Breaking pitch just misses. Back-to-back walks issued here. Has runners on first and second with no outs. Third walk of the ball game by Nolan. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Cole Taylor. And his first at-bat back in the second inning, he lined out to Jackson Rainey in left field. Rainey had to not move his feet at all. The ball hit right at him. Rainey made the catch for out number 1 in the second inning. Taylor steps in, 0 for 1 in the ball game. Jondal comes set, a look back at second. The first pitch here. Misses low and outside. Nice block there by Pernica to keep the runners at first and second. 1-0 the count to Taylor with D'Angelo Williams on deck for the Panthers. Williams leads off second. Perez off first. Jondal, a look back at second. Now the 1-0 pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. 2-0 the count. Now a visit from the senior shortstop, Eli Hellman, out to the mound to talk to his pitcher, Nolan Jondal. Quick visit there. And Eli Hellman returns this short. Jondal back to the mound. Jondal comes set, a look back at second base. And now Taylor calls time, and he'll step out. So we'll all reset here with a 2-0 count. No outs here in the top of the 4th. Panthers with runners on first and second. Back-to-back walks to lead off the 4th inning. As Colton Williams down at second, and Jacob Perez down at first. Taylor back in for the right side. Jondal, the 2-0 pitch. Fouled off back behind home plate. 2-1 now the count to Cole Taylor. Special thanks to all the Benold students here tonight in attendance for Georgetown Eagle Baseball. A lot of the players on this Eagle Baseball team attended Benold. The 2-1 pitch fouled off down the first baseline, out of play. And the count goes even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes to the first baseman, Taylor. Taylor went after the kind of the high heater there, was up and away. Fouled it off. Doing John Dahl a favor there. Now the count 2-2. Nolan comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Breaking pitch inside corner. Called strike 3. Beautiful pitch there by John Dahl. His 4th strikeout of the ball game. Brings about the first out of the inning for the Panthers. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting left fielder, D'Angelo Williams. Another strikeout victim earlier in the ball game for the Panthers. Williams struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Steps in here 0 for 1 in the ball game. Williams off second base. Colton Williams. Perez off first. John Dahl look back to second base. The first pitch, D'Angelo. Ground ball, and it's into foul territory. Panicka comes out from behind the plate and grabs it for strike 1. 0-1 the count to D'Angelo Williams. 6 hits allowed last night by Eagle pitching. Only 1 so far through 3 1/3 inning here by Nolan John Dahl. Starter for the Eagles tonight, the senior right-hander. Perez leads off first. Colton Williams off second. A look back at second base. Now John Dahl delivers the 0-1 pitch. Williams up the middle. John Dahl tips it, but it's into Talon Ball. Over to Eli Helmet, over to first. Not in time. But that'll be 1-4-6 on the putout at second base to retire Jacob Perez. John Dahl tipped it off of his glove. Ball fielded it and pitched it over to Helmet at second base for the force out. And D'Angelo Williams moving down the line. Reaches on the fielder's choice. Colton Williams, the catcher, moves up to third base. So now runners on the corners for the Panthers with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And in steps Max Mendoza, the only Panther batter with a hit in the ballgame. He had a 2-out double to right center field. Back in the 2nd inning, was left stranded there. The first pitch from Nolan, it gets called off before he can release it as Max Mendoza called time. And now Mendoza resets back in the right side. John Dahl comes set. The first pitch to Mendoza, breaking pitch, just misses the outside corner. 4-1. Tuesday night, Elgin High School. Back next Friday here live at Eagle Field. And Thursday night, the Golden Rule will bring you Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. A 1-0 pitch in the turf for ball 2. Nice block and stop there by Chance Pernicka. 2-0 the count to Max Mendoza, the right-handed hitting third baseman. Runners on the corners here with 2 outs at the top of the 4th for the Panthers. Their first runner to reach third base in the ballgame. And Colton Williams, the 2-0 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards short. Eli Hellman charges the backhand. The throw across the diamond in time. And Nolan works out of trouble here in the top of the 4th. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 runners left on base after 3.5 innings. 8-0, Georgetown leads it over Pflugerville. Quick timeout. More Eagle Baseball in a moment on SHN. go to the bottom of the fourth inning, 8-0. Your Georgetown Eagles lead it over the Pflugerville Panthers. And this inning, you'll see the 6, 7, and 8 hitters up for the Eagles. Talon Ball, David Fluitt, and Chance Pernicka due up here for the Eagles to face off against David Mora on in relief in his second inning of work for the Panthers. Mora, the lefty, now on the left side, third base side of the rubber from the stretch. Comes set, the first pitch to Ball. He's up and in, ball one. In 2 appearances at the plate, Talon Ball 0 for 0 on the night. 2 walks, a stolen base. The 1-0 pitch misses out. Oh, catches the outside corner for a called strike. I jumped the gun there. 1-1 now the count to the junior second baseman, Talon Ball. Talon had himself a ball game last night. 1 for 2 on the night. Walked and stole 2 bases. Had an RBI. The 1-1 pitch bounces in for ball 2. 2-1 now the count. Mora comes set from the stretch. The 2-1 pitch. Outside corner, called strike 2. 2-2 now the count to Talon Ball. As Talon leads off at the bottom of the fourth here for the Eagles. Couple of more runs needed here in the 4th and 5th innings if they want to make this a run roll and keep the Panthers scoreless through their top half of the 5th. The 2-2 pitch, and Ball chases the high heater, strike 3. For out number 1. First strikeout of the ball game for Mora. 3rd of the night for Panther pitchers. And that'll bring up David Fluitt, the left-handed hitting first baseman. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first, was hit by a pitch in the second. Steps in here with 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. Mora, the lefty, comes set. Fluitt ready from the left-handed hitting side. First pitch high for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the sophomore, David Fluitt. 31 pitches thrown in his first inning of work by Mora. He allowed 1 hit, 2 runs, struck out, or walked 2. This one low and inside, ball 2. Fluitt ahead, 2-0 in the count. Chance Pernicka on deck for the Eagles. Mora comes set, the 2-0 pitch. Up and away, ball 3, 3-0. Fluitt way ahead in the at-bat. Fluitt back in for the left side. Mora will come set. The 3-0 pitch to Fluitt. Donna was letter high, maybe a little higher. And called strike 1. 3-1 the count now to Fluitt. Taken either way was the left-handed hitting first baseman. And now he's back in for the left side. Mora comes set. The 3-1 pitch. And that one's low and in the turf for ball 4. David Fluitt draws the 1-out walk. He's reached base in all 3 plate appearances here in the ball game. 3rd walk issued by Mora. 8th of the night by Pflugerville Panther pitchers. And that'll bring up Chance Pernicka. Chance back behind the plate tonight after being out for several games with an injury. Back in his first action in a while for your Eagles. Steps in here, 0 for 2 on the night. First pitch, swinging. And a swing and a miss, strike 1. Big bending curveball by Mora. Pernicka grounded into an inning-ending double play in the bottom of the 1st. Popped out to the second baseman in the 2nd. Steps in here with 1 out and a runner at 1st. In the bottom of the 4th. The 0-1 pitch from Mora. I hesitate because I was surprised that got called a strike. That was a strike called on the extreme outside corner. Looked to be across the left-handed batter's box line. But now Pernicka down, no balls and 2 strikes. Mora looking first base. The 0-2 pitch. That went into the left-handed batter's box. Called ball 1, 1-2 the count now. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Pernica, the catcher. David Fluett, the first baseman, a 1-out walk down at first base. He leads off there, held on by Taylor. Mora comes set. He'll look over at first base. The 1-2 pitch. Misses just high for ball 2. 2-2 now the count. Two and two the count now. 2-chance Pernica. Mora comes set, looks over at Fluid at first base. The 2-2 pitch. And that one sails high for ball 3. And now Pernica has worked it back to a full count after being down 0-2 to Mora. Jacob Faltasek on deck for the Eagles. Mora, a long look in. Now he'll come set. A look at first base. The payoff pitch. Pernica swinging a miss. Strike 3 for out number 2. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning. That'll bring up Jacob Faltasek with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Second strikeout of the night for Mora.
Next up for the Eagles, number 8, Jacob Faltasek.
Faltasek steps in. 0 for 1 in the ball game. A line out to shortstop into shallow center field, or shallow left field. Then he reached on a base on balls in the 3rd inning. Scored a run. Settles in from the right side. Mora, first pitch to Faltasek. Low and in the turf for ball 1. Devin Peterson on deck for the Eagles. Should Faltasek extend the inning here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. No runs, 1 hit, 3 errors for the Panthers. 8 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Eagles. The 1-0 pitch popped up, back out of play. The count evens up at 1-1 to Faltasek. One and 1 now the count to Jacob Faltasek, the right fielder. Fluid leads back off first base. Taylor holds him on. Mora comes set from the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Misses outside, ball 2, 2-1. Two and 1 the count to Faltasek. Mora now comes set. Look over at Fluid at first base. The 2-1 pitch. Up high for ball 3. And Faltasek way ahead now in this at bat with 2 outs and a runner at first. Devin Peterson, the leadoff man in the Eagle lineup, on deck, waiting his turn. Should Faltasek extend the inning and get on base. 3 and 1 the count. Mora comes set. He'll look over at Fluid at first. The 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. 3 and 2 now the count. You'll have Fluid off on the pitch here with a full count and 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. Mora looks in, gets the sign from Colton Williams. Mora comes set, a look over at first base. The payoff pitch. And Faltasek hits it out, and it's going to get through the hole. Or not through the hole. What a good job there by the second baseman, McGregor. As he was shading towards second base. He gets over to his left and fields the ball, but not in time to get Faltasek speeding down the baseline for an infield single. The 7th hit of the ball game for the Eagles. Second allowed by Mora. Now runners on first and second. And now steps in Devin Peterson, the center fielder. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. He's walked twice, scored 2 runs, stole a base. Struck out in the 1st inning. And steps in here with 2 outs and runners on first and second. The first pitch to Peterson. Misses for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Peterson back ready in the right-handed batter's box. Mora comes set and look back at second base. Fluid leads off there. Faltasek off first. The 1-0 pitch. Misses just high for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Devin Peterson with Eli Hellman sitting on deck for the Eagles. He'd like a chance at this. Hellman on fire tonight. 2 for 2, a single and a triple. 2 runs scored, a sac fly, RBI. 2 RBIs on the night for Hellman. Having a night for himself. The 2-0 pitch to Peterson, way high for ball 3. And now a 3-0 count, but Colton Williams will call a quick timeout and run out to visit with Mora on the mound. No action down in the Panther bullpen. So this one in the hands of David Mora for the time being. Nice crowd here on a Friday night. Beautiful night for baseball here in Georgetown, Texas. We're live at Eagle Field. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning, an 8-run lead for your Eagles over the Panthers. And now a 3-0 count to Devin Peterson with runners on first and second. The 3-0 pitch misses low and outside, gets off behind the catcher, and the runners will all advance on the base on balls. And now bases loaded for Eli Hellman, and what an opportunity here for the senior shortstop. Fluid moves up to third base, Faltasek up to second, and Peterson walks for his 3rd time of the night. The 4th walk of the evening issued by Mora. That is the 9th walk issued by Panther pitching here in the ballgame. Hellman, 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs, a sacrifice fly, stole a base, and scored 2 runs. Steps in with bases loaded. The first pitch from Mora. Hellman takes it up and away for ball 1. Eli Hellman, the everyday starter, only everyday starter, returning from that state championship team last year for the Eagles that went 35-7 on the year. Got a little bird in the booth here. Tommy Mozick, Jack Mozick hit another home run for Baylor tonight. The 1-0 pitch on the outside corner, called strike, 1-1 the count to Eli Hellman. Zachary Mozick, the freshman catcher at Baylor, one of the main captains here for this Eagle baseball team last year, a big leader on this team. Another home run for the Baylor Bears. 1-1 the count to Eli Hellman. The 1-1 pitch. Hellman hits it down the first baseline, but it squiggles foul. It's a mix between squirts and wiggles. I don't know where it came from, but I like it. Squiggler went just foul in between the coach at first base and Jacob Faltasek, or Devin Peterson down at first base. And now Hellman behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. But Hellman, the junior shortstop last year on that championship team, one of the anchors and leaders of this team this year, the senior shortstop. An opportunity here, the 1-2 pitch, and it skips in. Gets away from the catcher Williams, but Fluid unable to advance. So the runners stay put, and the count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I have to look that one up tonight. Squiggles. Wiggles and squirts. That's the combination there. A squiggler. Eli Hellman back in from the right side. Mora comes set. The 2-2 pitch. Hellman hits it out past the mound. The shortstop Palmer up with it, and he'll step on second base to force Peterson out at second for out number 3. And for the first time in the ballgame, the Eagles do not score a run here in the 4th. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 4 complete innings, 8-0. The Eagles lead it over the Panthers. More Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. for the top of the 5th inning. The Panthers bring up the 7, 8, 9 hitters. McGregor to face off against Nolan John Dahl. The first pitch up and in, ball 1. Nolan on to work his 5th inning here in the ball game. So far, only allowing 1 hit. Struck out 4, walked 3. Threw 4 complete. The 1-0 pitch to McGregor is inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. McGregor 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out swinging back in the 2nd inning. Leads things off for the Panthers here in the top of the 5th. John Dahl from the windup. The 2-0 pitch up and in, ball 3. A 3-0 count to the second baseman, Jordan McGregor. Diego Mora, Ethan Minjares up for the Panthers here in the top of the 5th. The 3-0 pitch, and that one a little more inside, hits McGregor. First hit by pitch by Nolan John Dahl allowed tonight. McGregor takes first base. So the leadoff man aboard for the 2nd inning in a row here for the Panthers. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting Diego Mora. First pitch misses just high for ball 1. 5th batter hit by a pitch by Nolan John Dahl on the season. Now Nolan from the windup works from the first base side of the rubber. A look at first base. The 1-0 pitch to Mora stays high for ball 2. Here in the top of the 5th inning, Eagles leading by 8. John Dahl, the 2-0 pitch. Skips in there low for ball 3, and now a 3-0 count to Diego Mora, the pitcher of record for Pflugerville. And now a mound visit by head coach Jordan Vieira. We'll take a quick timeout. Be back with more Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. Mound visit is over, and Nolan John Dahl stays in the ball game. 3-0 the count to Diego Mora. John Dahl comes set from the stretch. The 3-0 pitch outside, ball 4. Oh, the first 2 hitters of the inning both reach base here in the top of the 5th for the Panthers. A hit by pitch and a base on balls has runners on first and second. And that'll bring up Ethan Minjares. John Dahl's 4th walk of the night. Ethan steps in from the left side. First pitch misses for ball 1. Want to know the count to Ethan, the center fielder. John Dahl, the 1-0 pitch on the inside corner, called strike 1. Ethan reached on a base on balls back in the bottom or the top of the 3rd, but was doubled off on the line drive hit by Jacob Palmer to the shortstop Eli Hellman. Hellman caught the line drive and threw behind Ethan at first base for the double play. Swing and a miss on the 1-1 pitch. And Nolan John Dahl ahead in the count now, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jacob Palmer on deck. No outs here in the top of the 5th. Runners on first and second for the Panthers. So they try to get some offensive work going here in the top of the 5th. John Dahl look back at second. The 1-2 pitch. Outside corner. Wow, just misses. And now a 2-2 count to the batter, Ethan Minjares. Easy for you to say. I talked to his dad last night after the ball game, and I told him I apologize because I was not going to be able to get the pronunciation correct, and I apologize. Ethan back in. The 2-2 pitch from John Dahl. A ground ball hit out towards first. Fluid will field it. He'll throw to Hellman at second. Hellman fields it, fakes the throw, and holds on to it to look back towards third. And Diego Mora retired at second base, so Ethan reaches base on the fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Jacob Palmer with one out. Here in the top of the fifth, McGregor moves up to third base. 3-6 on the putout of Mora for out number one. Palmer steps in 0 for 2 in the ball game. Popped up to first in the first inning. Lined out to the shortstop in the third. Steps in here with runners on the corners and one out. John Dahl from the stretch. The first pitch to Palmer. Breaker in there for a called strike. Beautiful pitch by Nolan John Dahl. Nolan gets the sign from Chance Pernica. Comes set. The 0-1 pitch. Nope. He's going to throw over to first base. And Ethan dives back in safely there at first base. Expecting Ethan to take off here with runners on the corners with one out. Trying to get that second runner in scoring position. John Dahl comes set. Another throw over to first base. Ethan dives back in safely. McGregor leads off third. Fluid holds on to Ethan at first base. No balls and one strike to count to Jacob Palmer, the leadoff man in the Panther lineup. John Dahl comes set. A look at first. The 0-1 pitch. And that hits Palmer. And now the bases are loaded here with one out in the top of the fifth inning. Second batter hit by a pitch by John Dahl here in the inning and in the ball game. That'll move Ethan up to second base to load the bases. And that brings up Colton Williams, the catcher. He is 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out looking in the first. Reached on a base on balls in the fourth. Was left stranded at third base in that inning. Steps in here with the bases loaded. And one out. In the top of the fifth, John Dahl comes set from the stretch. The first pitch to Williams. Inside corner, called strike one. 0-1 the count to Colton Williams with Jacob Perez, the right fielder, on deck for the Panthers. Eagle defense would love a double play ground ball right here to get out of this jam. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike two. 0-2 now the count to Colton Williams. Strikeout would be nice as well. Defense playing. Looks like Fluid playing up on the edge of the grass at first base. Brady Peters even with the bag now on the grass. The 0-2 pitch. Called. Strike three. Colton Williams strikes out looking for the second time of the ball game, and a big strikeout for out number two by Nolan John Dahl. His fifth strikeout of the ball game, 17th of the season. And in steps the left-handed hitting right fielder Jacob Perez, 0 for 1 in the ball game. First pitch, fastball outside corner, called strike one. Grounded out in the first, walked and was chopped down on a ground ball up the middle in the fourth inning. The 0-1 pitch, up and away, ball one, evens out the count at 1-1. Perez reached base on a base on balls back in the fourth, and then a ground ball hit up the middle by D'Angelo Williams, went off the glove of Nolan John Dahl to Talon Ball, and he flipped it to Eli Hellman to get the out at second. 1-1 pitch, misses low and inside, ball two. 2-1 the count now to Perez. Bases loaded. John Dahl back in the windup. The 2-1 pitch. Misses just low. Ball three. 3-1 now the count to Perez. Bases full with two outs here in the top of the fifth. John Dahl gets the sign. The 3-1 pitch. Inside corner, called strike two. And now see everyone off and running on the payoff pitch here with two outs. Bases full of Panthers. Perez back in from the left side. John Dahl gets the sign. From the windup, the 3-2 pitch. Outside, ball four. And that'll score McGregor for the first run of the ball game. for the Panthers. An RBI for Perez on that base on balls. We'll move Minjarez up to third. Palmer up to second. And that'll bring an end to Nolan Jondal's night as Coach Vieira heads to the mound for his second visit of the inning. Quick timeout. We'll be back with more here on SHN. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you a call to the bullpen. Number 14, senior Kyle Ropolo comes in on in relief of Jondal here in the top half of the fifth inning. Jondal pitches 4 2/3 innings. Ropolo on in relief here. He'll face off against Cole Taylor, the first baseman. The first pitch from Ropolo is just high for ball one. Cole Taylor on the night, 0 for 2, a line out and a strikeout looking. Steps in here, Ropolo from the stretch, 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike, 1-1 the count. Ropolo has pitched 7 innings on the season, appeared in 5 ball games. Has only allowed 2 hits, no runs, no walks, struck out 6. And he hits the batter, Cole Taylor, here on the 1-1 count. So the third batter hit in the inning by Eagle pitchers brings across the second run of the ball game. That run charged to Nolan Jondal as Ethan Minjarez comes in to score the second run of the ball game for the Panthers. Palmer moves up to third, Perez up to second. This ball hit out toward third. Brady Peters fields it on a hop, steps on third base. And the top of the fifth comes to an end, but not before the Panthers pick up 2 runs on no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. After 4.5 innings, your score 8-2. Georgetown leads it by 6 over the Pflugerville Panthers. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Georgetown has 8 runs on 7 hits, no errors. And the Pflugerville Panthers with 2 runs on 1 hit and 3 errors. As we bring up the 3, 4, and 5 hitters here in the 5th inning. Brady Peters, Riley Leininger, and Jackson Rainey due up against Diego Mora on in his 3rd inning of work in relief for the Panthers. Mora comes set from the stretch. The first pitch to Brady Peters. Ground ball hit out towards short. Palmer up with it. He'll throw across the diamond in time. 6-3 on the putout for out number 1. Here in the bottom of the 5th, the first time Panthers have recorded an out at the hands of Brady Peters. He came into that at bat 3 for 3 on the night with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Now Riley Leininger steps in. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. Walked and scored a run in the first. Doubled in the second. Flew out to right in the third. Steps in here with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. The lefty-lefty matchup here between Mora and Leininger. The first pitch to Leininger on the outside corner for a called strike. Through 2 innings, Mora's allowed 2 hits, 2 runs. He struck out 2, walked 4. Mora comes set, but Leininger's going to call a timeout. Looked like a insect or bug flew up in his face. Gets the timeout and resets from the left side. Mora look in. Now he'll come set from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Leininger. Leininger holds his swing and takes it just high for ball 1. 1-1 to count. To the left-handed hitting DH, Riley Leininger, the junior. Another player you heard a lot from last year for the Eagles in that championship run. One of the main DHs in the lineup for the Eagles. The bender in there for a called strike 2. 1-2 now the count. To Riley Leininger. Leininger back in the box. Mora long look in. Now he'll come set. The 1-2 pitch. And Leininger hits it out to center field. Minharis, a couple of steps back, and he'll make the catch for out number 2. F8 in the book to retire Leininger. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting left fielder, number 11, Jackson Rainey. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Walked in the first, struck out in the second, flew out to center field in the third. Steps in here with bases empty and 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Mora comes set. The first pitch to Rainey. And Rainey hits it down the right field line, and it'll be down for a base hit. Perez over for it, and he slips. Rainey around first. He'll head to second base. And that'll be a 2-out double by Jackson Rainey. Perez went over to field the ball and slipped on the grass. A lot of rain early in the day here. The 8th hit of the ball game for the Eagles. And a 2-out double keeps the inning alive for the Eagles. And that'll bring up Talon Ball with 2 outs and a runner in second. Talon 0 for 1 in the ball game. He's walked twice, struck out once. Mora comes set, looks back at Rainey. The first pitch to ball, swing and a miss, strike 1. Oh, and the 0-1 to count to the junior second baseman, Talon Ball. Jackson Rainey leads off second base. Mora comes set, a look back at second. The 0-1 pitch skips in for ball 1. Nice block there by Colton Williams to keep the runner Rainey at bay at second base. 1-1 now, the count to Talon Ball. Should he continue the inning and reach base? David Fluitt due up for the Eagles. Talon back in the box, ready to go. Mora comes set and a look at second. The 1-1 pitch and a swing and a miss. He chases the high pitch for ball or strike 2. 1-2 the count now. Beautiful night here at Eagle Field. Broadcast booth, a balmy 67 degrees. Our broadcast booth brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. Mora comes set, the 1-2 pitch to Ball. Ball hits it down the third base line, fair! Down the line, that'll score Rainey from second base. Ball around first base. He's headed to second base, and he'll be in there with a stand-up double, a 2-out RBI double for Talon Ball just inside the base down at third base. And what a job by the junior second baseman to keep the inning alive, score the run, and put the lead back up to 7 for the Eagles, 9-2. Nice shot there by Talon Ball. Scores Jackson Rainey. An RBI double for Ball. And now David Fluid will step in. With 2 outs and a runner at second base. Fluid has reached base in all 3 plate appearances. Reached on the fielder's choice, was hit by a pitch and walked. He's 0 for 1 in the game. The first pitch, swinging, fouls it off. Back to the backstop for strike 1. 0-1 to count to the sophomore David Fluid. Started the ball game, the .296 average. Steps in here. 0-1 to count with 2 outs at the bottom of the 5th. From the left side, Mora a look back at second. The 0-1 pitch to Fluid. Fluid checks his swing, but they say he went around, and now the count no balls and 2 strikes. Fluid back in the box. Talon Ball leads off second. Diego Mora gets the sign and comes set. Looks back at second base. The 0-2 pitch down in the turf for ball 1. 1-2 now the count. To the first baseman, David Fluid. Chance Pernicka, the catcher, on deck for the Eagles. Mora with a long look in, gets a sign from Williams. Comes set in the stretch, a look back at Ball at second base. He'll turn towards second, but no throw as Ball gingerly walks back quietly. It's all picturesque. What a beautiful night for baseball live here at Georgetown High School in Eagle Field. The Eagles looking to move to 4-0 in district play and stay undefeated alone the top of the standings in District 23. The 1-2 pitch to Fluid. The big bender stays high for ball 2. 2-2 now the count to David Fluid. The Eagles 3 runs in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. None in the fourth, and 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. 9-2 your score. Mora comes set. A look back at second. The 2-2 pitch. Fluid watches it skip in. It gets away from Colton Williams, the catcher, and Talon Ball cruises into third base, and now the runner 90 feet away for Fluid. Full count here. 3-2 the count. Fluid reached on a fielder's choice in the first, was hit by a pitch in the second, walked in the third, has been left stranded on base all 3 times. Steps back in here now with a full count and 2 outs at the bottom of the 5th. Mora comes set. The payoff pitch. Fluid fouls it off back to the screen. We'll reset and do it again. 3-2 the count now to David Fluid. Talon Ball leads off third. Mora look in to get the sign and comes set in the stretch. The payoff pitch. Outside corner called, strike 3 for out number 3. And the Eagles are down here in the bottom of the 5th. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors and 1 runner left on base after 5 complete innings. 9-2 your score. Georgetown leads it over Pflugerville. Quick timeout. Back with more Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. come back for the top of the 6th inning. Kyle Ropolo stays in the ballgame on the mound for the Eagles. Came in and shut down the last third of an inning there in the top of the 5th in relief of Nolan Jondal. And now he'll face off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Panther lineup. That'll be Mendoza, McGregor, and Mora. Kyle Ropolo work from the stretch. First pitch to Mendoza. This is inside for ball 1. Ropolo, the 1-0 pitch. Across the heart of the plate for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Max Mendoza, the third baseman for the Panthers. Ropolo gets the sign, the 1-1 pitch. Called strike on the inside part of the plate. 1-2 now, the count to Max Mendoza. Ropolo comes set from the stretch, the 1-2 pitch. Breaking pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Mendoza down for the first out of the inning. First strikeout recorded by Ropolo tonight. Mendoza was 1 for 2 on the night to that point, now 2 for 3 in the night. And in steps Jordan McGregor. He led off the top of the 5th, being hit by a pitch. 1 of 2 batters hit by a pitch by Nolan Jondal. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. The first pitch from Ropolo, he fouls it off of the first base dugout for strike 1, 0-1 to count. McGregor reached on the hit by pitch and came around to score the first run of the ball game for the Panthers. Steps in here with 1 out, and the base is empty in the top of the 6th. Ropolo comes set, the 0-1 pitch. Sent down the right field line, and it's just going to curl foul. Thought it was going to stay fair, and it bent foul just outside the line about 2 feet. And now Kyle Ropolo way ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes to Jordan McGregor, the second baseman for the Pflugerville Panthers. Ropolo comes set, the 0-2 pitch. Fouled off back to the screen as McGregor stays alive in the at-bat, fouling that one off. The wind was blowing earlier, and now it is pretty still out there. The American and Texas flags outside the center field wall, laying straight down the pole. Just a beautiful night. The 0-2 pitch, breaking pitch, just misses low for ball 1. Beautiful pitch there by Ropolo. Ropolo comes set. The 1-2 pitch to McGregor. Fouled off. Out of play down the first baseline. A 1-2 remains the account to Jordan McGregor, a right-handed hitting second baseman for the Panthers. Ropolo gets the sign and comes set from the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. McGregor chases the high fastball. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Ropolo has struck out the first 2 hitters here in the top of the 6th. And that'll bring up the pitcher, Diego Mora. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Lined out to the shortstop in the 3rd. Reached on a base on balls back in the 5th inning. First pitch from Ropolo in there for a called strike. 0-1 the count. Kyle Ropolo, the senior right-hander, came on a relief after 2/3 of an inning in the top of the 5th by Nolan Jondal. He pitched a beautiful 5 2/3 inning game. Now the 0-1 pitch to Mora just misses for ball 1, 1-1. Ropolo came in there in the top of the 5th and induced a ground ball by D'Angelo Williams to get the final out of the inning. 1-1 count to Mora. Just low for ball 2. 2-1 the count now to the pitcher, Diego Mora. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball hit down the first base line. It's fielded fair by Fluid, and he'll take it 3 unassisted for out number 3, and the Panthers go in order. here in the top of the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. 2 runs, 1 hit, 3 errors for the Panthers. 9 runs, 9 hits, no errors for your Eagles. We go to the bottom of the 6th after this. We'll bring up the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for your Eagles in just a moment on SHN. Back live here at the bottom of the 6th inning. The Georgetown Eagles bring up the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. Pernica, Faltasek, and Peterson against Mora on in relief for his 4th inning of work. Pernica in from the right side. The first pitch is high for ball 1. Pernica 0 for 3 on the night. Couple of ground out, a pop up, and a strikeout. Pernica finally returning to action after the injury. Back behind the plate for the first time in a few games here. Mora comes set. The lefty brings the 1-0 pitch. Misses. No. Called strike 1. Got the inside corner. 1-1 now the count to Chance Pernica. Mora comes set, the 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 1-2 now the count. To Pernica. Mora gets the sign and comes set. The 1-2 pitch misses outside, ball 2. 2-2 now the count. To the senior catcher, Chance Pernica. Jacob Faltasek on deck for the Eagles. Devin Peterson in the hole. Here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. 9-2 your score, Georgetown. Not far from being 4-0 in district. The 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Pernica down for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. The 4th strikeout of the night for David Mora. And that'll bring up Jacob Faltasek. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. A line out. Was walked and scored a run in the 3rd, and then a base hit in the 4th. Steps in here with 1 out, and the base is empty. Special thanks to our sponsors. Nathaniel Funk, your Edward Jones financial advisor. First pitch to Faltasek. Misses high for ball 1. The G-Town Lumber and Supply. And to Borrow from Morrow. Borrow from Morrow brings you the Georgetown Eagle broadcast booth here live on SHN. Matt Morrow. Outside corner, called strike 1 on the 1-0 pitch. Here's some disagreement in the stands there. Mora comes set. 1-1 pitch to Faltasek. It's low for ball 2. 2-1 now the count. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Your family, your future, our focus. Borrow from Morrow, proud sponsor, the Georgetown Eagle SHN broadcast booth. The 2-1 pitch, a swing and a miss, strike 2 to Jacob Faltasek. Here with 1 out. Borrowfrommorrow.com. Visit there for more information. Matt Morrow, proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Sports and SHN. The 2-2 pitch misses way outside, ball 3, and now a full count to the senior right fielder, Jacob Faltasek. NMLS 464-148, Matt Morrow. Borrow from Morrow. David Mora takes his time, walks around the mound, and now toes the rubber and looks in for the sign from the catcher, Colton Williams. He'll come set. The payoff pitch to Faltasek. Faltasek fouls it off the helmet of the catcher, Colton Williams. Stays alive in the at-bat. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. "79 pitches through 3 innings for Mora. Works here in the 4th inning, his 4th inning of work. Payoff pitch. Faltasek grounds it out between third and short. The third baseman, Mendoza, fields it, throws across the diamond in time. Nice play by Mendoza to record the out. 5-3 on the put out for out number 2. And now to bring up the leadoff man in the Eagle lineup, number 17, center fielder Devin Peterson. He's 0 for 1 still here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and he's been to the plate 4 times. Struck out looking in the first to start the ball game off for the Eagles, but then has walked the next 3 times up in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th inning. Steps in here in the 5th inning with 2 outs and the bases empty. Mora comes set. The first pitch to Peterson. A swing and a miss, strike 1. In the 6th inning. I apologize. We are in the bottom of the 6th. 2 hours, 21 minutes this far through the ball game. The Eagles just 3 outs away from the victory. Mora, the 0-1 pitch. The breaking pitch in there. Mora called strike. No balls and 2 strikes now to Devin Peterson. The Eagles next week in action at Elgin on Tuesday. Back home on Friday. The Eagle Baseball Coaches Show on Thursday, live from the Golden Rule. The 0-2 pitch. Up and away for ball 1. 1-2 now to Devin Peterson. Tuesday night, Elgin High School. Site of the first matchup between the Eagles and the Wildcats this year. 7 o'clock first pitch. We'll be live on SHN at 6:45 pregame. Mora comes set. The 1-2 pitch to Peterson. He fouls it off back to the screen. Stays alive in the at-bat. 1-2. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. If you can't be out there at Elgin, join us live here on SHN. Have the ball game for you on Tuesday night. And then Thursday night, come join us. The wonderful Golden Rule, proud host of the Eagle Nation Coaches Show during football and the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show in baseball. And great food, great atmosphere there at the Golden Rule. The 2-2 pitch, or 1-2 pitch, driven down the left field line, in for a base hit. Devin Peterson around first base. He's going to churn for second. Nope, he's going to stop and come back. But a 2-out single there by Devin Peterson. Gets off the schneid of the over tonight with a base hit. Now 1 for 2 in his 5 plate appearances, but a beautiful 2-out single by the center fielder. The 10th hit of the ball game for the Eagles. Peterson off and running on the first pitch to Eli Hellman, and he'll steal second base without a throw as that ball got away from the catcher, Colton Williams. 1-0 the count to Eli Hellman, senior shortstop. 2 for 3 on the night. 1-0 the count. Mora comes set. A look back at Peterson at second base. The 1-0 pitch. Hellman pops it up left side. Drifts into the outfield. Palmer at shortstop drifts back into left field, but the catch made by D'Angelo Williams, the left fielder, coming in. And F7 in the book as Williams chases down his hat in left field. The bottom of the sixth comes to an end. No runs on one hit, no errors, and a man left on base. We go to the top of the seventh. The Eagles lead it by 7, 9-2. More Eagle baseball continues on SHN after this. Go to the top of the seventh. Kyle Ropolo stays in the ball game on the mound for the Eagles, and he'll face off against the 9-1-2 hitters in the Panther lineup. Ethan Minjares steps in to lead it off here in the top of the seventh. The Panthers down to their last 3 outs here in the ball game. First pitch from Ropolo in there for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike to count. Minjares 0 for 1 in the ball game. Walked in the third inning. Reached on the fielder's choice. Swings at this pitch and drives it into center field. Devin Peterson calls for it and makes the catch. For out number 1. That'll retire Minjares for the Panthers and bring up Jacob Palmer. Palmer is 0 for 2 in the ball game. Flew out, lined out to short, and was hit by a pitch and left stranded at third base in the 5th inning. Steps in here with 1 out, and the base is empty. Ropolo from the stretch, the first pitch, just high for ball 1. 18 pitches through an inning and a third for Kyle Ropolo. He struck out 2 hitters. Hasn't given up a hit. 1-0 pitch, ground ball up the middle. Ropolo fields his position. Nice snag there. Throws to first to Fluid in time for out number 2. 1-3 on the putout. And the Panthers down to their final out. Colton Williams, the pitcher. Colton Williams, the original pitcher. Now the catcher of record for the Panthers steps in. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Struck out looking in the first, walked in the 4th, and struck out looking in the 5th inning. It comes down to Colton Williams to keep the game alive for the Panthers. First pitch misses outside for ball 1. Great job there by Kyle Ropolo to field his position on the ground ball up the middle by Palmer. Snagged it through to Fluid in time for out number 2. The 1-0 pitch. Bender catches the outside corner this time for a called strike. 1-1 now the count to Colton Williams. 2 strikes away from a 4-0 record in district are the Eagles. Ropolo comes set. The 1-1 pitch. The Bender stays high. Ball 2. With the win, the Eagles will move to 9-10 and 1 on the year, but more importantly, 4-0 in district play as they look to continue their winning ways here in District 23. Ropolo comes set. The 2-1 pitch off the handle of the bat. It's got to be strike 2. It went off the handle of the bat. It's not a hit by pitch. No way. Coach Vieira is going to come out and protest that. There's no way it hit his hand and shot back to the wall. It went off the handle of the bat. So now Coach Vieira quickly out. The home plate umpire going to go talk to the first base umpire. That went off the knob of the bat. Fouled off back towards the first baseline dugout, and it shot back there. If that went off his hand, Colton Williams is on his way to the ER with a broken hand. That was a fastball inside, and that sure looked like the knob of the bat. Colton Williams played it well, and yes, the first base umpire is going to overrule that one. He's going to tell Colton Williams to step back to home plate, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. That is a foul ball. And Colton Williams tried to sell it, and the home plate umpire started to buy it when he shook his hand after it went off the knob. And the home plate umpire asked him and then pointed him to first base, and Coach Vieira questioned it. The umpires meet, and now Coach Wagner wants to meet with the home plate umpire to find out just what was discussed and happened there to be called back to the plate. So as it sits right now, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. So the Panthers down to their final strike here in the top of the 7th inning if they want to make a comeback, down by 7, 9-2. The Eagles hold on. They'll be 9-10-1, 4-0 in district play. The Pflugerville Panthers will drop to 4-13 and 1-3 in district play. Colton Williams back in for the right side. Kyle Rapolo looks in and gets the sign from Chance Pernicka. He'll come set from the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Just missed outside. 4-3. Now a full count to Colton Williams. Williams did a great job there of holding off and not chasing the breaking pitch outside. And now a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Kyle Rapolo comes set. Colton Williams awaits. The payoff pitch, and the ball sent out towards second base. Talon Ball calls for it, and he'll make it about 5 steps into the grass for out number 3. P4 in the book to record the final out of the ball game, and your Eagles are victorious 9-2 over the Pflugerville Panthers. 9-10-1, the overall record. 4-0, the district record, which is more important than anything right now for your Georgetown Eagles. The Eagles victorious here tonight. We'll take a short timeout. We'll come back and visit with head coach Jordan Vieira and wrap it up from the field. You're listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball live here on SHN Sports. We're back here live, Eagle Field. The Eagles advance in the standings again, 4-0. The winning ways continue in district play. And about what you wanted when we talk about clean baseball, this Eagle defense continues to sharpen things up, and now a 4-0 district standing, up atop first of the standings. You got to like that. The only undefeated team left in district. Talked about us tonight. Nolan Jondo, another good outing. Some walks there at the end. I talked to him. How do you get a pitcher to stay that focused when each inning seems to be so long in between? Your offense must be doing good things, but how hard is that for a pitcher to come in and be warm and locked in every inning?
Yeah, I mean, it's challenging for him to be able to stay out there and for him to be able to keep moving around in between innings and, just staying in his routine. The easy thing is to continue to stay in your process, right? Like the routine doesn't change, the delivery doesn't change, the goal doesn't change. The hard part is maintaining that focus for those long stretches in between the innings. So he did a great job. He filled the strike zone really well early. Got a lot of offensive support from him early, and so it was a quality night. Just like you said, played quality defense.
Funny, we talked to Kelly and you talked to Nolan Jondo and Eli Hellman last night at the coaches show, and then those two come out and show out tonight. Eli, a beautiful night tonight, a big triple there, and one of the big leaders on this team that played a lot of baseball last year on this state championship team. How big is that to have leaders like that come out and be the leaders that you need them to be on this team?
For sure. I mean, when you got dudes and they decide to be dudes, that helps a lot. And so it's been good to have those senior leaders out there. I mean, those guys, and then you get the anchor behind the plate with Chance Pernick of him, finally having him come back from some injuries. So it's good to have the guys being guys and being able to continue to stay at it.
A couple of days off, and now next week we go on to face an Elgin Wildcat team. What do we look for out of the Elgin Wildcats?
Another competitive bunch. I mean, like we're going to continue to have competitive games, and they're going to give us everything that they got. And if we can continue to stay in the strike zone, play quality defense, and then get on first base, we got a chance.
Tuesday night, we'll be live at Elgin. We'll see you there.
One more thing. We
yes,
do have
sir.
Our Challenger game tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. EGA will be out here. If you want to come support some kids with some special needs, it's a pretty special opportunity to come out and cheer those kids on as we get to host that game tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
Now, how often will that happen through the season?
Every Saturday through the end of district.
So Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. here at Eagle Field.
Yes,
come
sir.
out and support this great work. These boys ate it up last year. It was some fun to watch and be a part of. That's something that you guys do, that it's being a part of this community, but bringing in those kids with special needs, it just touched the heart of so many people in this community. What a wonderful work for you guys. Congrats on the win, Coach. 4-0 in district.
Appreciate it.
We keep rolling on.
Amen. Thank you.
The Eagles victorious again tonight over the Pflugerville Panthers, 9-2 on this one, and they moved to 4-0 in district to lead the standings. A quick break through the weekend, and Tuesday night we'll be in Elgin to take on the Wildcats in district play as it continues. But then Thursday night, live at the Golden Rule, come join us for the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. And then Friday night, back home against the Eagle Wildcats. Another week of baseball continues. Your Georgetown Eagles victorious. Thanks for joining us live here tonight on SHN. Enjoy your weekend, and remember, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Good night, everyone.